What's going on YouTube? I'm here to bring you a tutorial of how to set up a skateboard. I'll go through every part of the skateboard, everything you need to know about the skateboard, what to put in your skateboard, and yeah. So, just to make sure we're all on the same page, this is a skateboard. This is grip tape. This is a truck. This is a wheel. And this is a bearing. Great, so now you know parts of a skateboard. Let's go through them. Now the skateboard deck, you're gonna have lots of brands out there. Some brands will say their skateboard is the best out there because it has stronger wood, but I recommend trying out a couple decks. I use an 8.25 as the thickness of the deck, 8.25 inches. The thickness is completely personal. 8.25s are a little thicker. The recommended thing for beginner is 8.0. 8.0 is a good all-around board. It flips easily. It's easier to land on. 8.25s are easier to land on, so if you want to land more tricks, or if you want to do transition skateboarding, 8.25, 8.5 is the way to go. If you're looking for more street skateboarding and flip tricks, 8.0 to 7.75 is the way to go. I use an 8.25 because it's a good board. It's a good size, my personal favorite. And this specific board is a custom-made board I made myself. I've got the board offline for like 20 bucks. It was a blank deck. And of course I made a design for it because I like it. It's just more fun to do it that way and it looks a little cooler, so yeah. I use a blank deck. It is made of maple. Most skateboards are made of maple, and it's 7-ply. Do not get a 5-ply skateboard. Why shouldn't you get a 5-ply skateboard? Good question. Because 5-ply skateboards focus, crack, chip, and break so much easier than 7-plies. Because 5-plies means there are only 5 pieces of wood in your skateboard. So if there's 5-plies skateboard, there's less strength in your skateboard. So it's easier to break. Walmart boards are made of 5-plies. Mongoose boards, some of them are made of 5-plies. Don't get a 5-ply skateboard, get a 7-ply. Most skateboards are 7-ply, so if you go to a skate shop, you'll likely find some 7-ply skateboards. And maple's the way to go because maple is a lightweight wood, it's a strong wood, and it'll do you good. Another part of the board is grip tape. Just grip tape. Get Jessup, get MOB, get Skate Jun. Just grip tape, doesn't make a difference. Grip tape here is MOB because MOB is boss. Shit. Next is your trucks. Probably the most important. I would say important, but basically every part of the skateboard is important. But this is probably one of the things you want to do the most research on, because trucks can be the difference between landing a trick and having trouble on a trick. These trucks are independents. They are really good. They are high trucks and low trucks. So Thunders will be considered low trucks. Most Thunders are low trucks because they're smaller trucks, so you're lower to the ground. Why is this good, you might ask? Because it's much easier to pop. Why is that bad though? Because, well, if you're lower to the ground, then there's less room for you to pop, and it gives you less of an angle when you pop. But if you have a bigger truck, it has more of like it's more of like a fulcrum. So when you pop, your pop's a little bit. There's a little bit more pop when you pop. When you do pop, it's a lot easier. Maybe a lot harder to pop with high trucks. But when you do pop, then you have really, really high ollie, really high kickflip. That's why if you're looking to get the most out of your ollies, get a higher ollie, you might want to invest in some risers and high trucks. Independents, they make high trucks. They're really good high trucks. They're a little bit heavier, but that doesn't really bother me. So if you're a beginner, I recommend getting Thunders because you're lower to the ground, it makes it easier to pop. When I was learning with high trucks, I found it really difficult to learn to ollie because when I did pop, sometimes I wouldn't actually hit the ground when I popped because it was higher off the ground. So I had to get used to popping. If you have low trucks closer to the ground, so it's easier to pop, and you can do it a lot quicker. Your ollie's gonna be a lot quicker and snappier. High trucks, higher ollies, they're a little bit, to me, they're a little harder to learn on, but when you do learn on them, you can get your ollies higher. Inside the truck, this little rubber piece is called bushing. Softer ones make it easier to turn, harder ones give it a more rigid turn. I'm not sure what these are. I don't really care what they are because I just don't really care. So I'm gonna throw the trucks on right now. I'm throwing them on my new board, so yeah. To put it on, I'm gonna show you how to put the trucks on. So you have these things called hardware. They're just screws and bolts. You put the screws in. You put, from what works best is when you get a new board, you can kind of see how, let me see, you can kind of see how the hardware kind of pops out. That's super aggravating to me. So yes, you can bore a hole into it using special tools, but what I find a lot easier is just to put hardware like in a diagonal kind of fashion. So when you throw your truck on, take your bolt, I recommend for you to get skateboard brand bolts because, or skateboard brand hardware. Because if you get like Home Depot hardware, sometimes they can be different sizes. Sometimes it just makes everything a lot simpler just to get hardware made for skateboarding. Literally tightening it, you just put the screwdriver part of your skate tool or a screwdriver into the bolt or into the screw. Then you take your skate tool or ratchet or wrench, whatever the hell you have, put into the bolt, righty tighty. So if you can see, I'm not sure if you can see this, but you can kind of see how this bolt, but you can't even see, you can see this bolt popping out, but you can't see this bolt because this bolt's well sunken in. You want them sunken in so it doesn't feel awkward on your feet. Voila, I am finished with my hardware. Now we're going to put the bearings into the wheels. It's probably my least favorite part because it takes the most work. These wheels are 100S Bones Party Pack. They're a good wheel, I like them. They don't flat spot. I recommend getting these or Spitfires, something like that. They're all good wheels. But to put it in, basically you take your bearings, these are Bones Reds by the way. You put the shield going inwards, then you take your spacer, put spacers in your wheels because I think they're important. Don't argue with it, that's why they're there. Just put the spacer in your wheel. Put the spacer there and put the shield going inward as well. So they're all, both the shields, both the red parts or the colored parts are going that way into you. You take your wheel and you just pry it into it. This part takes a lot of energy. After that, you just put it in. You gotta do it again. It takes energy because, probably because I'm weak, but mostly because it's just harder. You can kind of flip your board around, kind of get a grasp like this. Let me see if I can show you like that, and then get that, and just hold it, and just go, and just try to push it with your fingers. Eventually you'll get it. It feels a little hard to get out because one of them's not straight. So make sure you hold it straight. When you can spin it and it spins freely, that's how you know it's right. You can also look at the wheel and watch it spin. If it looks like it's spinning right without wiggling, then you've done it right, and congratulations, you put the wheel in right. So, yeah, you gotta do this 4 times. So yeah, make sure you use clean bearings, make sure they're lubricated. Alright, so I couldn't get it in. I'm not weak, I swear to God, I'm not super duper weak. But no worries. What you can do instead is if it's not all the way in, you can just put the things back together, tighten it a little bit, and if you tighten the wheel, then the bearing should pop in. Because when you tighten it, it pushes on the bearing, causing it to get forced in. Yeah, it's good now. How I tighten it? Well, first you gotta remove, when you get the bearing in, you start tightening it. When you start tightening it, you wanna make sure you tighten it until the wheel can't really move, then slowly loosen it. If you can feel it like wobble, like pushing it in that way motion, like a lateral motion, I'll show you. If you're moving it like up and down, for instance, and you can kind of feel like a little shaking, you might want to tighten it a tad more. But what you really want in the end is you want your wheel to just turn. I am done with my board. It looks great. Hope you enjoyed watching. If you learned something, remember to leave a like, comment something nice, comment whatever you want. Subscribe for more. Subscriptions make me motivated to keep making videos like this, and have a good day.